Good morning. So it's me again, back to give you another tour. And it's going to be a long one today, so if you want to watch the whole thing, great. Get forward through parts and just enjoy the parts that you want to see. And I'm tired, yes, I didn't sleep very good last night, but I just wanted to go ahead and such a beautiful day that I wanted to get out. And so I'm going to just start right here at the front porch today and just kind of take you through a little bit of my day, of what I'm going to be doing for a few of my chores today. Don't mind me, I'm really not wearing makeup this morning, but I'm going to turn this around. So this is my front porch right now. It's still a mess, but we're working on projects, that's why. So first thing, I am greeted with kitties. They're sleeping in the boxes. They're so busy at night. And our porch, we started to clean it back off, but we keep bringing stuff up and then taking it off. And I've got piping that's going to be to help water my pumpkins, but it's going to involve a lot of digging up a small trench to lay it in the ground because we don't want it above ground. So we're going to be working on that project at some point. And so, yes, you just wanted a pet. You just wanted pets this morning. This is Patches. She's not always the most loving, but she took a long time to get to this point. Now she really loves Big Pet. She's purring. So sweet. You're purring. Are you just wanting lovies? So I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a moment, and I'll be right back. Hey, so here I'm just basically going to forward through some of this, but that previous plant, and this one's lemon, but the previous one was a grapefruit plant, tree. Anyways, I decided to try this record over audio and see how this goes. This is a mandarin orange, and this is just going down the driveway really fast. I'm trying to cover up the sound of the loud lawnmower so you don't have to listen to it. Those are the grapes that we planted, and blueberries are right there to the left. Anyways, the gazebo that needs to be remodeled or torn down a little bit, I'm not sure. Anyways, we're almost at the end here. So I went and got the lawnmower and went around. You kind of saw some of that moving around our yard, the other side. And I came over by the garden, but this is sort of the contraption, and I'm filling it up with water right now. Since I don't have the poor pumpkins, which look like they're not doing so good. I don't know that we're going to get really any pumpkins this year, but it's good practice, and hopefully I'm not the only one who hasn't been getting pumpkins, so it might just be a yearly thing. Anyways, so we have this attached. I have another spout. We were going to do a hose, and then we decided to go ahead and dig a line. So eventually we'll have a line going all the way through the middle here, and then it'll cut across to the pumpkins way out on the other side over there with those white PVC pipes that I had on the front porch. So that's sort of a project. But in the meantime, this old garbage can that we did call after we moved here, they didn't want it back. So we had the whole thing in it, and Michael was like, it's too big. So he cut it down. And this is, it works. It works to get some water around the yard, to water plants that we need that are too far away from a water source. So that's what we're doing right now. But just keep in mind, when you start a homestead or you start gardening, if you move out to the country like we did, it's not going to be set up all the time. I mean, you might have the money to buy a great piece of property that's really already done, but not everybody does, and we didn't. So in fact, we didn't even have a water source outside. When we first moved here, there was literally no outdoor water anywhere. It was crazy, even though we have a well that needs a well pump, but it was just ridiculous. So this is going really fast with this hose. I bought this hose because, see, you make mistakes. I had another hose that I bought and I accidentally went over it in my lawnmower and I shredded it. So I thought I had that on video. So it's really sad because I was filling this up and my hose like literally just shot right at me and hit me, hit the phone. It was crazy. So I finished filling that up and I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick garden tour while I'm standing right here at the beginning of the garden anyways. And then I'll bring you along on some other tours for like watering the pumpkins down there. And so for the beginning, if you remember the planter box that, well, we've been trying to eventually get this one done, but that's really back burner right now. We have so many other projects going on. But this one I really want to get finished. Still trying to grow a few things this year before it gets too cold. And I may not even get that done, but we're almost there. So this is a project that I've been working on for pretty much most of the summer and just haven't had a chance to finish it. But I'm not doing the hugelkultur method. I'm not using the sticks and the wood at the bottom like I have done in some of these other hills. This one I want to be able to do carrots and, you know, things that might grow down farther without hitting sticks. So I'm just trying to fill it up with a lot of the soil that I had piled up. And so I've been getting there. I lined it with that fabric stuff that I mentioned before. And so I took some fabric liners and I went down. I did kind of loops like this just to try to keep the grass from growing too much. It's still growing, but I'm hoping to eliminate most of it. So there's that project and my abundance of wildflowers that, I don't know, the bees and the butterflies absolutely love it. Like they're still there. I still have bees. They absolutely, I don't know if you can see that bee. It's right there. So, you know, this brings the bees towards my garden. I need to try and get some more flowers growing up more around the garden. So that's what I've been attempting to try to put in some flowers and try to attract them a little bit closer to my plants. We'll see how that works. My sweet potatoes, I only have like 2 plants and they're doing okay, but I know I'm not going to have a lot of sweet potatoes. It was really me trying to learn how to grow sweet potatoes this year. And I have tomatoes. You know, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about staking next year. I tried these poles and I really don't like them. They don't seem to work the best. They don't get in the ground here very far down. So, I mean, I'll use them for other stuff probably. And I might still stake stuff up with them. But it is what it is. I do see a couple tomatoes. Let's see. I have a couple. This one's a cherry tomato. But it's already split. So I don't know, the water's been so inconsistent this year that the tomatoes that I have gotten seem to split very easily. But like I have some growing, so I'm hoping that, you know, this month we get a good amount of tomatoes. At least to say that I got tomatoes this year. And this poor one over here, yeah, I don't know if I posted it. I might have to post it on my Instagram, but I had a tomato, took a picture of, and it had a bunch of like lines around it, and when I posted in my group, everybody said that was just from growing too much water too fast, and it was probably due to all the rains that we had. But I did try to recently plant some more cucumbers, and I don't know that they're going to grow this year, but I mean this fall. I did get cucumbers really well earlier this year, as you probably saw, but I don't know. It's kind of late for them. And so I have a couple of bean plants going. Wow, you can see my shadow on this side. I'll go to the other side so you can see a little better. So I have a couple of bean plants that I planted here, and then these down here are all bean. And then I did plant a couple of my other cucumbers because these are more bush beans, so they're not going to really go crazy, but these should take over this whole trellis. And then I tried a couple okras. This is the only one that's left. So I don't know this year. I might not have planted them early enough. This is doing okay. That's an eggplant and a couple more cucumbers that I planted. This poor tomato, it got eaten, to be honest. And then I tried trimming it back and it's still not doing good. So I'm probably just going to cut it out but it didn't really get anywhere with the tomatoes. Now this tomato plant is doing absolutely amazing, and it's got a bunch of tomatoes growing. Haven't been able to harvest any yet, but I'm really hoping sometime this next week or so. And I do have like a couple more different tomatoes. If you remember, I had all these tomato plants that I tried growing like in cups. Then I put them out on my like driveway by the house for like 2 months. And I think I root shocked them, and then I finally transferred them out here to the garden. So this hasn't been the best year for tomatoes for me, but I'm hoping just to be able to get a few. We have had a few small cherry tomato size, the yellow pear tomatoes from this tomato plant right here. So I've had a few, and you know, this is our favorite, is the little yellow cherry. But I have a few more growing, so I'm really hoping this month of October actually do get, you know, just even a few more tomatoes that ripen up. I'll be happy if I can use a few this year. I'll be happy. Something I learned about in my gardening group is to spank the tomato, because if the bees don't come pollinate. So I've been coming around and tapping them, trying to get them to pollinate, and it seems to work since I'm getting some tomatoes. It's kind of a funny little tip. Anyways, I was gonna go back over here and show you. I did get a couple dahlias off of these, and they look kind of sad, but they were really beautiful, and I cut them off because they were overgrown. I had a huge hill of just overgrown dirt and everything right here, and I finally got that conquered about a week ago, and I got one of my hibiscus plants planted right here. These things can get up to 10 feet tall, so it's a very good possibility I will get a lot more flowers growing down on this end of the garden. So that was the idea, to put it there, is to try to get it down here. And I'm probably going to keep adding some more actual flowers down on this section over here, since it gets a good amount of sun. Although I may add, I don't know, I may add another hill down here. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I have more tomatoes that I started growing in this little section. And there's also some more eggplants that I think it's kind of taking over the poor eggplants. This one is an eggplant, and this is an eggplant, this is an eggplant, and this poor little plant, I don't think it's getting much water right here. But the other seems to be doing okay. These are my peanut plants. To be honest, it was just a fun, like, experiment, I guess, if you want to call it. I honestly don't, I don't expect peanuts, to be honest, but they seem to be doing okay. I don't know what peanut plants are really supposed to look like. My chili rellenos, seriously, I don't know if you can see this, but I have a bunch of chili peppers. They're really not that big. Most of them are like an inch or inch and a half long. And you know, when you go get them at the store, they're like 5 or 6 inches long. So I'm trying to let some of these grow bigger. This one's a little bigger, more like this length of my finger. That one's a pretty big one. So I'm just trying to see if I can get some of these to grow a little longer. We love that, like a chili relleno egg casserole, and it's so good. There's another chili relleno plant right here. And then I have a bunch of jalapenos growing. I don't know if you can see the jalapenos on this, but there's one. There's a bunch of jalapenos still growing in these. There's a red one. You see the red one right there. There's another red one. So yeah, my peppers are just doing amazing. They do need water. I didn't water them yesterday. And so I still have a bunch of bell peppers growing. It seems like when I take them in, if we don't use them immediately, they don't seem to last very long. There's a red one. It's really small though. Some of them aren't getting big and some are. So I'm trying to let some of these grow bigger. Tia keeps complaining I cut them off and bring them in, and they're only like an inch and a half long. So I'm trying to let them get bigger before I actually bring them in. My watermelon plant is just never ending. And the ants are never ending either. They're crazy. They're everywhere. I don't know. I gave up trying to fight these ants. So I've shown banana peppers before. I still have them growing. I cut off a bunch the other day and took them in. So there's not as many showing up right now. So I'm not sure what's going on. It looks like the tops of these are going bad. This is my watermelon patch this year. Hopefully it'll be moved over where the pumpkins are for the summer next year, but well, absolutely will be. But this year, I was surprised. We actually did get a couple decent sized watermelon and they were so sweet and tasty. It was amazing. I did have a couple rot, so I had to get rid of those. I'm trying to keep it going. I do still have one-ish growing here. It's pretty small, but if it gets a little bigger, I'll be happy. I did see another one start. I don't know if it survived. Oh yeah, it looks like it died. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off because I don't want it wasting. See, it's just rotting before it gets going. I don't know what's going on because you can see there's like some kind of rot, or I don't really know. I don't know if it's because I watered the plants in the morning the other day and it got hot. Could have been that, I guess. Or it could just be some kind of fungus. I haven't really been spraying them with any pesticides or anything like that because I really want it to be more organic. And maybe by next year I'll get myself some neem oils and things that are good for pests. Anyways, so I guess I'll just throw this in my little compost bin of nasty stuff. And, well, that's the garden. So I guess I'll show you this right here. I did trim this one up the other day. This is our thornless blackberry. Let's say blueberry. Our thornless blackberry. And it's been really good, but I trimmed off a bunch of stragglers. I don't want it growing out towards the lawn, so I'm just trying to keep it really trained and have it grow across. And then if that one survives, then we'll have it growing up from that side. It's been really good. All right, here we go. Splashing everywhere. Yeah, it looks like some of the pumpkins are not doing so good. I haven't watered them in 3 days, so that's probably why. But they were also starting to die because of bugs. There we go. So I am just showing you the pumpkins and how I've been watering them this year. And you know, you got to do what you got to do. So if you're a new homesteader, new to gardening like me, this is my first year gardening and I'm learning. It's not going to always pan out. I'm not going to get pumpkins. Maybe I might if I get one, if I'll be happy if I get one. That would be amazing. I've had a few start, but then they just rot. And I gave them some fertilizer the other day. I'm not sure, you know, if these are going to turn out. I just don't know. This year, I've read on my gardening group that other people have had, you know, their pumpkins look okay, but they're not growing any pumpkins. So it's just a little interesting. I came through the other day because it didn't look so good, and maybe that's why I thought it was dying, but I mean, the leaves aren't terrible. They're not great. And obviously the squash vine borers do kill it, but I did come through and I cut a bunch of leaves off. I was trying to get it to where the bees and pollinators could come and actually find the flowers and hopefully pollinate some of it. So this one is the oldest, like one of the biggest ones, because it literally goes all the way down there. Oops, I'm not really pointing it. And this branch here is all from the same plant. And then this one over here that goes out, that's a different plant. And that one's doing really good, but they do need water. So I did see a pumpkin growing, and it might have rotted, but let's see if we can find it. It was a small one last time I was out here. Let's see. Where is it? This one somewhere? I feel like it was on this vine. Not seeing it. Might be a different vine. Let's look over here. Oh, here we go. See? Now, I don't know if it's going to die or not, so I'm really hoping it doesn't. I don't know if I need to, like, pollinate it. You know, like, I don't know. It's so bizarre. I don't know if it's considered already pollinated. I am not a gardener. I'm learning. I want to be a gardener, but I don't know. Some people take the males. Oh, look, there's another one. And there's a baby one. That's cute. Oh, can you see that? Not in the light. Go, see? Anyways, so maybe if they actually survive my abuse, then I might get a pumpkin or two if I'm lucky. So I'm gonna go ahead and water. Watering, this is what I'm doing, is I already have it turned on, and it's more or less the gravity. Where's the hole for this one? It's way over here. I might have parked too far away. I think I did. So I guess I'll hold it. Can you see the hole? So basically, it's just gravity bringing it down. That's all.